On the morning of August 1st, 2012, the New York Stock Exchange opened at 9:30 a.m., exactly as it always does. The bell rang, the screens lit up, and for one specific company, the world immediately began to end. Knight Capital was not a household name, but it was a titan. It was one of the largest traders in U.S. equities, executing billions of dollars in trades every single day. They were the invisible plumbing of Wall Street, the high-speed middlemen that kept the market flowing. But at 9:30 and 1 second, something broke. Inside Knight's data center, a single server began to scream, not with sound, with orders. A trading algorithm went rogue and started firing off thousands of trades that made no sense. It was buying high, selling low, and repeating the cycle faster than any human could follow. Traders watched the market jerk and spike in impossible ways. On Knight's side, money was evaporating at a terrifying rate, millions of dollars per minute. And the worst part was that at first, no one understood what they were looking at. By the time they finally stopped it, 45 minutes later, Knight Capital was effectively dead. The final damage was $440 million. This wasn't a story about a market crash. It was a story about a deployment error. It was the story of how one forgotten file on one server can turn a billion-dollar company into a warning label. To understand what happened, you have to understand the setup. Knight Capital was deploying new trading software for a fresh program known as the Retail Liquidity Program. Buried inside their codebase was an old function called PowerPeg. Years earlier, it had been used for testing, an aggressive routine that could rapidly push trading behavior in extreme directions. It was supposed to be dead, unused, forgotten, a relic from another era of the system. But instead of deleting it, they left it in place, and to make things worse, they reused a control flag. In the new system, that flag was supposed to activate safe new behavior. In the old system, the same flag activated the old PowerPeg logic. Everything depended on one assumption, that the new code would be deployed to every server. Knight ran their trading system across 8 servers. The update was manually performed. A technician copied the new software onto server 1, then server 2, then server 3, until all 8 were supposed to be updated. Except one wasn't. One machine was left running the older version, and nobody noticed because the system still appeared to be online and healthy. Then the market opened. At 9:30 a.m., the command went out to activate the new trading routine. On 7 servers, the new software behaved normally, but on the 8th server, the old ghost woke up. It saw the same flag and interpreted it through outdated logic. The old PowerPeg routine activated, and the server began to place extreme, irrational trades at full speed. At first, it looked like a bug in the new update. Engineers scrambled, screens filled with alerts, traders demanded answers, and in the panic, Knight made a decision that turned a disaster into a catastrophe. They tried to roll back. They reverted the update on the servers they believed were responsible. They assumed that returning to the old version would stabilize the system, but the old version was exactly where the landmine was buried. Now, instead of one server running the dangerous behavior, multiple servers were primed to behave the same way. The volume of bad trades multiplied. The algorithm wasn't just malfunctioning, it was consuming capital like a fire consumes oxygen. Knight's systems were now accumulating massive positions in stocks they never intended to hold. They were buying at inflated prices, selling at losses, and doing it so quickly that the losses grew faster than the team could diagnose the cause. It took 45 minutes to identify what was truly happening and to shut the system down. By then, Knight was stuck holding an enormous pile of unwanted shares. To survive, they had to dump them immediately, locking in catastrophic losses. The final number was $440 million, nearly $10 million per minute. Within days, a firm that had taken years to build was reduced to a rescue deal. Not because of fraud, not because of a hack, not because of some genius competitor outsmarting them, because one server didn't get one file. The lesson of Knight Capital is brutally modern. First, manual deployments don't scale. If an automated process had verified the software versions across all servers, if checksums or rollout validation had been enforced, this could have been caught before the market ever opened. Second, dead code is not harmless. Dead code is a weapon you forgot you owned. It sits quietly in your system, waiting for the one combination of conditions that wakes it up at the worst possible time. In 45 minutes, 17 years of history were erased. In the Silicon archives, this is the reminder. In the digital world, small mistakes don't stay small. When code moves money at machine speed, a single missed step can become a $500 million event before anyone even understands what's happening. And if this can happen on Wall Street, it can happen anywhere. Because the compilation never stops.